Hello friends, in this video tutorial we are going to talk about lists. Okay, in HTML we have three types of lists. We have the ordered list, we have the unordered list, and we have the definition list. Ordered lists are the one that lists something with 1, 2, 3 in order, you understand, or A, B, C, or I, and other. While by an ordered list, the one that use a kind of symbol to list. And we equally have definition lists when we want to define something or create something that looks like a dictionary. So we go with this list. Okay, let's quickly start. You know what is listing now? When somebody wants to go to market or something, you list something, maybe 1, you say you will buy egg, 2, you will buy rice. You understand? This is list. Some doesn't use number, some can use which is unordered. Maybe they will say star. We'll do something like this. That they will buy egg, then they will buy beans and all that. Okay, so the first thing we are going to tackle now is the ordered list. I'm going to create a new file. I will call it list.html. okay, list.html. let me use HTML version 5 call it list. Okay, so first thing first, let me just break some here. Okay, the reason is because of my screen recorder, so that it will pull up whatever thing that will go down. Okay, so first of all, let me say h3, and we are talking about a list, but this time around ordered list. Okay, yeah, I use h1. Okay, we have lists. The first one we are going to look into is ordered list. Okay, let me view this. Review in Explorer. I run this code. Okay, yes, list, ordered list, right? Okay, so ordered list use this tag known as OL, which is ordered list. Okay, then inside it you start listing using this LOI. Okay, I can say rice, the first thing in the list, beans, second thing in the list, LOI, let me say meat. Okay, let me call it say egg. Okay, let me run this for you. See that this other list will number this list. Okay, you see it, we have rice, beans, meat, and egg. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yes, ordered lists numbered their list with something that differentiates the one that comes first and the one that comes second. Okay, we can change the way it order. Here it uses 1, 2, 3. Okay, so we want it to use A, B, C, D instead of 1, 2, 3. What do? We create an attribute here known as type. Okay, the type of ordered list we want is the one that uses capital A. Okay, when we say capital A like this, it will use capital alphabet. You see it now, A, B, C, D, capital. Okay, we can change our type to small a. It will now use small alphabet, right? Go back to the page and refresh. You see it now uses small alphabets. So list this. Okay, I can equally use I, small I, right? It will use small numeral and small letter IV, right? Okay, we can equally use capital I. to use it in capital letter. Okay, so that's all for this ordered list type. Okay, this is ordered list. First of all, you write your ordered list, close it. Now you start listing it. Okay, back to this place. In ordered list, we only have this attribute known as type, and their values can be capital A or small a, capital I or small I, or 1. Okay, 1 is actually the default value. Assuming I didn't put any type, it will use 1 to 3. Or I can still come here and just put 1 like this. That's the default type. It will still use 1 to 3 for me. Or I just remove it by default. It will now list it with 1 to 3. Okay, so let me use capital A here. Okay, now we are now moving to the second one we have, which is the unordered list. Unordered list is very similar to ordered list, but with slight different. Okay, let me just draw a horizontal line here. Okay, I now says H3 ordered list. Okay, for us to know. So unordered list, just like the name, goes with UL. Okay, this stands from unordered. This is list. This is ordered. This is list. Okay, it's a double tag like this. Then you start listing with your LI. Okay, I can say rice. Copy and paste. I say beans. Okay, I can just copy what is here. Let me just add it up here. Okay, this unordered list now, you will see how it will list it. But you can see that they are slightly similar. The only difference is that this one uses UL as the parent tag, where this is uses OL as the parent tag. Okay, let me refresh it. Okay, for unordered list, you see what it uses. It doesn't number, but rather it uses a uniform symbol or something like that to list. Okay, we use this kind of list anytime we don't want to number anything. Whereby we use this kind of list when we want to number, when we want to notify the viewer the one that comes first and the one that comes second. But this one doesn't care about doesn't have priority, just unordered. Okay, so unordered equally have this attribute known as type. Here we are trying to determine the symbol. Okay, so the default type you are seeing there is known as disk. This disk is actually what you are seeing here. Let me zoom this. Let me zoom my web browser. Okay, I know you can see it now. This is disk. If I refresh, nothing changes. So, but I can use square to list for unordered. In square, if I refresh, you see it changes from cycle to square, right? Okay, let me zoom it more. Scroll down so that you can see it very well. This is square. Okay, back to the code. Let me still go back to disk. That's the default one. The default one is this. You see it uses cycle, right? Okay, the other one is square. Now we have the third one known as cycle. Okay, see the kind of cycle we have for disk. But now let me refresh. Okay, these are the cycle we have for when you use this cycle as a value. Okay, I think that's all for unordered list. So in unordered list, we have an attribute known as type, and this type has this value disk, which is default. It has cycle, and it has square. Okay, as long as HTML is concerned. But in CSS, you can equally alter and add a lot of things for this unordered list. Now we are moving to definition list. Definition list is a little bit different from ordered and unordered list. Okay, in definition list we start with DL, which is definition list. It's a double tag like this. Then, like I said, we normally use it to define something. So we have DT, which is known as the definition terms. Okay, it's a double tag as well. Then we now have DL. Okay, so each DT must have its own personal DL. DT is the definition terms, whereby this is not DL, this is DD, whereby the definition data goes here. So you write what you want to define, you define it here. If you want to define another thing, you use your DD, write it, then you use your DT. You use your DT to write what you want to define. You use your DD to define it. For instance, let me say noun. Okay, now I cannot say a noun is a name of anything. A noun is a name of anything. So anytime you want to define, you use definition list. Let me add another thing in our definition list. So let me say DT. Okay, let me say verb. Right, then it will have its own personal DD. Okay, DD is now what I will use to define what verb is. Okay, I can say a doing or action words. Okay, this is for verb. Okay, let me talk about HTML. Okay, let me say DT HTML. Okay, let me give it its own personal DD. Let me say hypertext markup language. Okay, so let me run this and see, but before then let me just draw my horizontal line. Just want to differentiate from this H3. Okay, definition list, right? Okay, let's run this code and see. Okay, you see our definition list. This is the DD. You see where it places it, then define it here with DD. Okay, this is another DT verb. Define it here, right? This is HTML. Define it here. Okay, this is how definition list works. But sometimes people prefer to do something like this. Before that, they will want to bold and italize, right? Bold and italize down the right now. Okay, so that it will look more better. Coming back here, you see now we define, right? Okay, let me just zoom out this. Okay, so here it's not necessary you must bold and italize, right? But sometimes we do it so that we'll make this look pretty cool. Okay, let me say D bold and italize. Okay, verb. Okay, HTML. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching the video. That's all for definition list. Thank you.